What's up guys, it's Michael H, and today I'm bringing you guys a custom music tutorial for Mario Kart Wii. This is the first time I'm making a tutorial like this, but I wanted to make this since I've been making BRSTMs for a long time and I'm very experienced with it. I have also never seen a tutorial using looping audio converter instead of Brawlbox, which is what most tutorials out there use these days. Brawlbox is pretty outdated, and looping audio converter has several features that make making custom music a whole lot easier. For those who have never made or used custom music before, BRSTMs are music files that play on every track in the game, as well as in other areas of the game, such as the results music, the startup music, and even the options music. There are two types of BRSTMs, single channel and multi-channel BRSTMs. Multi-channel BRSTMs are only on a few tracks. Even though the optimization update for CGP made it so you do not need to make multi-channel BRSTMs anymore, I'm still going to cover them in case people who do not use CGP still want to make BRSTMs. Before the tutorial starts, there are a few programs that you will need to download. The first one is Audacity. Audacity is a program that allows for editing MP3 files. We'll be using this program to speed up songs and help set up looping points, which we'll get into later. The next program we need to download is Looping Audio Converter. This program is what will allow us to actually create the BRSTM files. The last program is not required, but I still recommend that you download it, is Brawlbox. Brawlbox is a program that is very similar to Brawlbox. I know we said earlier that I'm not going to be using Brawlbox to make BRSTMs, but it's still a useful program just to confirm that the BRSTMs are made correctly. The reason why I'm using Brawlbox over Brawlbox is because I've experienced some issues with Brawlbox in the past, so I'd recommend that you install Brawlbox instead. The download links for all these programs can be found in the description below. Now with that said, let's get on to the tutorial. To start, go on YouTube and find any song you want to use. For this example, I will be using Mario Stadium from Mario Sports Mix for Luigi Circuit. Once you find the song, copy the video link and paste it into a YouTube to MP3 converter. Once the link has been created, download the MP3. After downloading MP3, open Audacity. Now before we go on, there is a setting that we need to change in Audacity in order to use it with Looping Audio Converter. To change this setting, go to Edit, Preferences, and under the Import Export tab, go from Mix Down to Stereo or Mono to Use Advanced Mixing Options. Hit OK. Now that we've done that, drag the MP3 file that you downloaded earlier into Audacity. There are a few things that we need to do in Audacity. First, some songs have a bit of silence in the beginning before they actually start to play. To check if this is the case for your song, zoom in and check the beginning of the song. If there is a flat blue line like this at the beginning of your song, I mean there's a bit of silence before your song actually starts playing. To get rid of this bit of silence, highlight the whole thing, and then go to Edit, Cut. And this gets rid of the bit of silence in the beginning of your song. The next thing we need to do is to make the song louder. To do this, hit Ctrl A on your keyboard to highlight the whole song. You can zoom out to make sure that you selected the whole song by doing this. After you've done this, select Effect, Volume and Compression, Amplify. You should see this menu pop up here. Where it says amplification, type in a number to amplify the song by however amount you want. Make sure allow clipping is checked, and hit apply once you've amplified your song by a certain amount. For this example, I'm just going to amplify by 4. Usually, you want the blue waves to reach the top and bottom of each channel in order for the song to be loud enough. It is worth noting that amplifying the song by the same amount will have different results for different tracks. In other words, for one track, amplifying it by how much I just amplified the song will make the song loud enough, but for other tracks, the song might be a little quieter than expected. Don't worry if you don't get the volume right on the first try. We'll go over how to fix that later in the video. Now if you don't want to add a looping point to your song, you can just go to File, Export, Export Audio. However, I'll go over how to add a looping point. If you're using video game music, chances are that it has a natural looping point, which can allow you to save space when making BRSTMs. This song has one. For this song, I will play where the song starts and where it loops. As you can see, the same part of the song is used again, but to minimize this to save space in the BRSTM, we can add a looping point. First, find exactly where the loop starts. As you can see, it starts around here. Once you've done this, zoom in and delete the rest of the song. Go to Edit, Cut. Now you're done this, check to make sure that you cut off the ending part correctly. After you've done this, we're ready to export the file. To do this, go to File, Export, Export Audio. I recommend at this point you name your file the file name of the track or whatever song you want to replace. I provided a link in the description that shows all of the file names in the game. For this example, I want to replace Luigi Circuit. So using the website in the description, I'm going to go to where musics are and find the file name for the BRSTM for Luigi Circuit. In this case, it's right here. The way the file names work for the tracks is that the BRSTM name for the first two laps end in an _n, as you can see right here, and the final lap ends in _f. Since we're only working on the first two laps right now, we can just copy and paste this as is, and just paste it. At this point, I would also recommend that you make a folder to make sure that it doesn't get too messy when you're making BRSTMs. So on your desktop, right click, hit New, Folder. You can name this whatever you want. I'm just going to name this Custom Music. Inside this folder, I recommend you create two more folders. One for the WAV files, which we are making right now, and another for BRSTMs. So now that we have made this, just save it into the WAV folder and make sure that your file type is a WAV. Hit OK until all the menus disappear. Now before going on, I just want to mention this as a side note. If you plan on replacing the options music, which is the music that plays when you create a license or change your Mii, the file name listed on the website is actually incorrect. The website says that the file name is what is displayed on the screen now. However, if you notice, there is a space between the first underscore and the uppercase O in the word option. There is not supposed to be a space there, meaning that the actual file name is what is displayed on the screen now. I just wanted to clear this up since I've seen people getting confused by this before. Now that we have a WAV file, it is time to make the BRSTM. First, open Looping Audio Converter. Make sure your settings are exactly like they are here. Once they are, take the WAV file that you created earlier and drop it into the program. If you do not amplify your song in Audacity, make sure to do that right here. Also, make sure to change the output directory. This is where your BRSTM will get placed on your computer after you make it. Since I made a folder earlier for BRSTMs, I'm just going to save it there. The last thing we need to talk about before creating the BRSTM is the loop options. In this menu, there are 5 options. Keep as is does not add any looping information, meaning that your song will just have the same looping information as it did. Remove loop information removes the loop in a song if it already has one, meaning that once the song ends, it'll never start again and it'll just be silent. In this case, it does not have a looping point. Add loop information if missing adds a loop to the song, but however, this loop is very specific. Once the song ends, it'll start over from the beginning with no custom looping. Ask for non-looping files will ask you to add a custom loop to your song if your song does not have one. And lastly, ask for all files does the same thing as the previous option, except it always asks you to add a loop regardless of whether your song has a loop point or not. If you did not do anything to your song to add a looping point earlier in Audacity, you can select the third option and hit start. In this case, we need to add a looping point, so I will be selecting one of the last two options since it really doesn't matter in this case. After this, hit start. You should see this menu at the top. You'll also see two important things at the top of this window, start and end. These number indicates where in the song the loop will start and end. Usually I keep the end number the same since it will go to the end of the song, and I adjust the start number as necessary. Since we already edited our WAV earlier to compensate for a looping point, we can just find where the end of the song matches the part where we want the loop. So when unchecking this loop box, I'm just going to play how the song sounds like without the loop at the end. So now we need to go earlier in the song and match the ending point with a certain part in the song that we want to loop with. So I will do that now. As you can see, it's somewhere around here. So we want to match it. So we need to go to exactly where they sound similar. Once you've found the part where you think you want the loop to start, hit this asterisk here for the start button. And this will change the number so it'll loop where you are in the song right now. Now we need to test to see if the loop actually works. Check the loop box right here and then play the song. As you can see, I kind of messed it up, so I need to adjust the looping point for that. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so now the loop sounds good. It'll take a few tries to get the loop just right. However, after you're done, you can just hit OK. Once the green line goes all the way, the BRSTM has been created. To check whether you did everything correctly, find the BRSTM that you just made. And here you can open it with Brawl Crate. This is where you can see whether the BRSTM was made correctly. You can just play it to test and to test the looping point. As you can see, the BRSTM was made correctly and the looping point works. Now that we have created a BRSTM for the first two laps of Luigi Circuit, we now need to make one for the final lap. There are two things you can do for this process. The first thing you can do is go back to Audacity. If you want to, you can cut out the intro of the song so it starts slightly later in the song, just like how the game does it normally. However, I am not going to do that here. If you just want to change the speed of the song, you can select the whole thing by hitting Ctrl A. And then after doing this, go to Effects, Pitch and Tempo, and you can select either one of two options, change speed or change tempo. There is a difference between these two options that I will explain before going on. Change speed changes the speed and pitch of the song, while change tempo just changes the speed. I will select both options now to show you the difference. I personally use change tempo most of the time, but it's up to you. If you do it this way, then you can just export the file and just repeat the process that we used before. However, I will showcase an easier way, which I recommend doing if you're new to making BRSTMs. With the BRSTM you already created, right-click on it and hit copy. Then paste it into the same place you copied it. From here, rename the copied BRSTM and replace the _f part of the BRSTM with _f. This tells the game that this is the BRSTM for the final lap. With this BRSTM, open Looping Audio Converter again and drag the BRSTM you just copied. Change a loop option to keep as is. After changing the loop option, hit Adjust Tempo and edit this value. Now before going on, I need to emphasize that this Adjust Tempo option does not work the same way like it does in Audacity. For example, if you try putting the same number that you would in Audacity in Looping Audio Converter, for example I usually put 11 in Audacity, in Looping Audio Converter it will make the song much faster than Audacity. So to prevent this, I'd recommend you put a value here like 1.1, which is a good speed for Looping Audio Converter. Once you do this, hit Start. Now your final lap BRSTM is created. To check that the looping point is the same and that the song is sped up, open the BRSTM with Brawl Crate and check. As you can see, the song is now faster and it has the exact same looping point. We're now going to cover how to make multi-channel BRSTMs. Just like for single-channel BRSTMs, go on YouTube and find any song you want to use. This time, I'll be using Aquarium Park Act 2 from Sonic Colors or Koopa Cape, which is a track that has a multi-channel BRSTM. Get the video link and paste it into YouTube to MP3 converter. Download the MP3 and open Audacity. From this point, edit the MP3 file as if you were making a single channel BRSTM. For the sake of demonstrating how to make multi-channel BRSTMs, I'm just going to amplify the song here and not have a custom looping point. At this point, the process for creating multi-channel BRSTMs is going to be slightly different. I'll display on screen now an image that shows all of the tracks with multi-channel BRSTMs and the number of channels that they have. In this case, I am making a BRSTM for Koopa Cape, which has 8 channels. The number of channels a BRSTM has will tell us how many times we will have to copy and paste this song in Audacity. To know how many times you will need to do that, take the number of channels a BRSTM has, divide it by 2, and subtract that number by 1. Since Koopa Cape has 8 channels, I will copy and paste the song 3 times in Audacity. To do this, hit Ctrl A on your keyboard to highlight the whole song. Once you do this, hit Ctrl C on your keyboard to copy the song, and hit Ctrl V to paste it. When pasting the song each time, the part you just pasted will be highlighted. Before pasting the song again, make sure to unselect it by clicking in the gray space below the waves. And repeat the process. Once you have done this, you can export the file just like we did before. Make sure that you save it to the WAV folder that we created earlier and that you rename the file to the name of the BRSTM you want to replace. For this case, I want to do Koopa Cape. I'm going to find the file name for Koopa Cape. After finding the file name, just paste it. Hit save. hit OK until all the menus disappear. Now, open Looping Audio Converter and drag the WAV file you just created into the program. Make sure to change the output directory to the BRSTM folder that we made earlier. I'm also going to change the loop option to add information if missing, since we did not do anything in Audacity to add a custom looping point. Now, before hitting start, there is a setting that we need to change. In the bottom left corner where it says for file with more than one audio channel, select the option that reads puts all channels in one file. You must always select this option when making multi-channel BRSTMs. After this, hit start. When the BRSTM is made, open the file with Brawl Crate to make sure that it was made correctly. If done correctly, you should see a drop-down menu for the streams, and they should all have audio in them. I'm going to play the song now and go through all of the streams just to make sure that this is the case. As you can see, the BRSTM was made correctly. Once you have done this, you can do what we did earlier to make the BRSTM for the final lap. I will do that now. Now that I have made the final lap BRSTM, I will open it in Brawl Crate to test it. And with that, you know how to create single channel and multi-channel BRSTMs. But what if I didn't get the volume right? One of the best features of Looping Audio Converter is the ability to modify BRSTMs even after you create them. This means that if you did not get the volume right for your BRSTMs when making them, you can edit the volumes of them with Looping Audio Converter without having to remake the entire BRSTM. It even allows you to modify multiple BRSTMs at once. For example, let's say I messed up the volume for my Luigi Circuit BRSTMs. With Looping Audio Converter, I can just drag those BRSTMs I already made and put them both into the program. When doing this, make sure you change your looping options to keep as is. And if you're making a multi-channel BRSTM or editing one, make sure you still have the option here as put all channels in one file. Although you can have this for single channel BRSTMs too, it does not matter. Make sure your output directory is set to the BRSTM folders like it has been before. Since I want to amplify my BRSTMs for Luigi Circuit, I can just check the amplify button here and amplify it by however amount I want. In this case, I'm just going to make it 2. Once this is done, hit start. Once this is done, you can then open the BRSTMs with Brawl Crate to see whether the changes were applied. I'll play both Luigi Circuit BRSTMs just to test. It might not be obvious because we didn't amplify the BRSTM by that much, but I can assure you that the volume has been edited, and we did not have to recreate the whole BRSTM. Once you have made all of your BRSTMs, insert your SD card into your computer. After this, go to the CGPR folder and locate the My Stuff folder. If you do not see a My Stuff folder here, you can right click in the CGPR folder and hit New Folder, and name the folder My Stuff with a capital M and a capital S. This folder must be named exactly like this. I already have one, so I'm not going to be creating one here. Go into the My Stuff folder and drag the BRSTMs that you created into the folder. Once you have done this, safely eject your SD card by right-clicking on your SD card and hitting eject. Once you have done this, you can take your SD card out of your computer and put it into your Wii for testing. If you are using C2GP, make sure you go to Settings and have the My Stuff option on anything except for off. Also locate the option on the second page that says Automatic BRSAR Patching and turn it on. After you have done this, you can load the game. I will now showcase the BRSTMs that we have just made in game. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. If you guys would like to see more tutorials from me in the future, such as how to make Wi-Fi music and other modding related MKW videos, let me know in the comments below. Like I said, this is the first time I made a tutorial video like this, so I am always open to feedback in the comments too. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to share this video with your friends as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.